Hi all, this is Raskin Felix. Welcome to my stock markets channel. This is the place where you get a lot of information on stock markets, both Indian and foreign, cryptocurrencies, all financial instruments, and kind of a place where you learn how to invest. And we are actually continuing from a video that we are doing on the basics of stock market. People who have already watched this, watching this should actually continue. For people who are new to this video, I would recommend that you go and look at the earlier videos so you have some continuation and some understanding. If you just want to look at this, we are actually going to understand what are stock and index movements, how are intermediaries working, what are the basic intermediaries, the types of investors, and the kind of investor you would want to be. Because that's important. That's actually the most important. See, why I've put this here is because you need to understand what your particular mental makeup is, and for that to happen, you need to assess what your risk level is, what your income is, how you can take risk, how much you can take risk, all these things basically. Now, let's get into this. I wanted to show how stock markets have moved and what is index movement over a period of time so that you understand that if you invest with a lot of care and with a lot of understanding of the stock market over a period of time, if you're like 20, 30 right now, by the time you're 40, 50, there's a very high chance you'll be a millionaire or a billionaire if you invest the right way in the right companies and keep it long term. So just for your understanding here, I've shared a graph which is basically for the S&P 500, and this is for 91 years overall. Now over these 91 years, you can see that the stock has, the overall index S&P 500 has moved from 250 to 4150 in terms of its overall index point weightage. Can you imagine? Just see this graph. My God, from 1986 onwards, 1980, 85 onwards, the way it has moved up, specifically in the last 3, 4 years, 5 years, you see the kind of movement that is there because of the advent of technology and how technology has made everything move fast. It has made everything so easy. And that is why the value of tech companies right now in US, for example, is just bolstering to another level. So this, you need to understand that if you had invested, this is a total 1560% return, which even if you annualize, and this I'm taking from an absolute level, it will be better if you take it from a compounding level, but from an absolute level, this is about 17.2% per annum. That is just a very high amount. In these 91 years, there have been 15 times where the recession has happened. And even through those recessions, the market has still given you a 17.2% return. A lot of people will come to you and say that, oh, I make 40%, I made 100% in a month. See, you can always say that I'm going to make this much return. The actual truth is, if you have, for example, alpha, a concept which is, for example, how better are you doing from the market? That is basically alpha. So if you made 21% and the market is at 15% growth, in that year you made, the alpha is 6%. You made 6% more than the market average. Now, just imagine this, if you make just 21% over a period of, say for example, a long period of time, you will become a billionaire. Berkshire Hathaway's Warren Buffett's portfolio, who is the biggest investor in this world. Now, that company does only investing, and it has said that it has made its average is only 21 or 22% over the stock market, where the stock market has gained on an average 17%. So, the alpha that Berkshire Hathaway has created is only 5% over the stock market. But it has done it for 50-55 years constantly, and that is why it has actually become this big. Now, index movement, I also wanted to show you the Indian stock market. Even if you see, what I wanted to show you is that even in 2020, after COVID, when the market fell, and the market fell by a lot of points, because it went from about 12,000 to about 7,000. Can you see the recovery that it has made from 12,000 at that point, which was looking an overvalued valuation, overvalued stretched valuation? It has now reached 15,175, and it's continuing there, and it's very stable there because a lot of people have started investing into the stock markets owing to the fact that they're at home and they're under lockdown. About 3 crore more demat accounts have opened in this corona period and coronavirus period. So that means people have started trading, and that's why the base level of the market has gone up. So it's not going to come down unless these base level people will come down. And because they have lesser knowledge, because they were not earlier in the market, now they will stay. And that's why the base level is also increased from 12,000 to around 16,000. Now, even in this case, the market has increased from 297 in 1990 to 15,100, and you see how the market has moved over a period of time from 1992, where the LPG policy was actually introduced by Dr. Manmohan Singh. So from there onwards, you see how the market has grown. It has grown 4,980%. Even if you analyze it, it's a lot. And this is the reason why India in the last 20 years has become a power in the whole world. It's in the group of BRIC nations, and it's quite powerful. This is something you need to see and understand. Now, what does stock price movement? How do you? What factors are there which affect the stock price? What are the factors because of which share prices move? One is if you have sustainable growth. If the growth is sustainable, if it's continuous in nature, it is long term. Like for example, ITC, HDFC Bank, these companies, these will do well. Continuing profitability. It's not like you have one profit, 1 year you have a lot of profit and then you don't have profit. That's when you actually lose a lot of money. Examples of this, for example, JP Infratech and Jaiprakash Associates. These are companies which were very profitable in 2009-10 because they made a lot of real estate projects. But they were so much under debt that they got bankrupt by 2015-16. And so this you have to understand how these companies are moving and what is the base of this. One very important factor that India is not yet seeing as much, but then overall it is going to play out in the future as well, is innovation. If you are doing innovation, if you are doing technological advancement in your processes, in your manufacturing processes, you are obviously going to make a lot of money. And that's when it is important for you to understand or read from annual reports or companies, which companies are doing technological advancement. Because the moment they're doing some investment into technology, they're working towards bettering their technology or production, they're going to better their efficiency. Efficiency, effectiveness, productivity, these three will increase your bottom line will increase your profit will increase your share price. There's another aspect that is obsoleting. There are a lot of companies which get obsolete because of the test of time, and they are not able to change in the due course of time. That's when they lose. Examples: MTNL, BSNL. BSNL is still there. MTNL is also still there. But you see MTNL, for example, because they did not move from their technology from one side to the other fast, they are now obsolete. Another thing that you have to understand from management discussion and analysis part of the annual report and overall assessment is the management. How much integrity. Today, if you're owning a business and if you're not having integrity, if you're not keeping your promises, if you are greedy, then your business will not do well. See the management, for example, you see examples like Kingfisher Airlines. You see how a company's MD or manager can actually hurt the company so much by laundering money that the company does not do well, and so many people lose their jobs because of it. So that's the thing. Then diversification of businesses. Are they doing diversification? Just look at ITC. ITC is a cigarettes business, but it has cigarettes being distributed at every corner of India. Because of this, they were of the opinion that okay, they will sell FMCG products as well because they already have distribution across India. If I am selling your cigarette, I can sell your biscuit, I can sell your chips, and replace Lays with Bingo, Mad Angles. So this is an important aspect. What is their market share and their market strength? If they have kind of a monopoly situation, they are very it's very hard for them to not make profit. Examples of this is ITC again. ITC has 87% market share in overall cigarettes organized market business. That is so much. There is no other competitor, and they're selling 50,000 crores worth of cigarettes in India. So, because of this, the overall market share and strength will obviously boost your share price. Opposite of that will also decrease your share price. So it's very important for companies to increase their market share over a period of time. And the industry overall potential. There are some industries which have gone bad because the industry has gone bad. Like for example, paper. Paper was earlier used, but now everything is online. So now where will you use paper industry? So the paper industry has actually been decelerating and degrowing for a lot of years now because of the lack of use of paper in a lot of things, except office use, which is also now getting all on clouds. So this is an industry, if you invest in some paper company, obviously it's going to go down. So why invest in it? So things like these you have to understand for assessing the stock price movement. Okay, now coming to the further sections, I wanted to discuss some case studies with you of how what we are discussing actually and how do we actually see value in companies over a period of time. If you can analyze the past and you can assess the stock strength over the last 10 years or 15 years, for example, you can actually understand what are the key criteria of why a company does well and what are the key criteria of why companies don't do well. We've already talked about oscillation, we've already talked about market strength, book value, these kind of things. So first company is Berkshire Hathaway. Now, Berkshire Hathaway is actually owned by Warren Buffett. It's one of the biggest companies in the US, and Warren Buffett being one of the top five richest people on earth. For most period of the time, he was actually second and third after Bill Gates. But it is just recently that all tech companies have gone up. So companies like Tesla, companies like Amazon haven't actually have actually outdone and outgrown. So that's why they've actually lower down in their rank. But Berkshire Hathaway, if you realize what book value is one of the most valuable companies. The company right now is owned by Warren Buffett, which is actually an investment conglomerate. So they own things like they own 17% of Coca-Cola, they own 7 or 9, they own 9% of IBM. So that's the kind of holdings that they have. Now their main agenda and their main plan and agenda is to buy companies with an actual competitive advantage where there is a particular business that has a business moat, a competitive advantage, and very cash rich businesses. Now, it owns one of the biggest general insurance companies in America, which is Geico Insurance. And you can't imagine if you can see this graph. The company is right now one share is worth around $432,000. That's that's a lot. So just imagine if one share of a company is worth around 3.5 crores, one share in Indian rupees. And so the market capitalization is 657 billion. Now, what I have not mentioned in this slide is that the book value of this company is also in the range of 200 to $250,000. That means, in terms of book value, it is only around twice the book value of the company, of the company's current market share price. So so this is the kind of value that we want. If we are buying, so for example, book value means if the company shuts down right now, what money will you get? Now imagine with industries being having book values of 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, a company where the book value itself is 2 times, imagine the kind of worth that is in their company. Also, the fact that people don't actually trade these shares. The free floating shares in the market for Berkshire Hathaway is only 3%. 97% of the holding doesn't change. So imagine the kind of demand there is and the kind of interest there is in the stock. That is why this stock does well over a long period of time. I wanted to also talk about case studies. When I'm talking about case studies, I want to talk about Tesla. Tesla is owned by Elon Musk. In the past 1.5 years, actually, Tesla has grown from in the range of 100 to around 700, 800. Right now, it has come down back to around 580 odd. And this company is actually owned by Elon Musk, 21% of it. And what is very interesting to know is that the company share price was $5 per share in 2010, and right now it is $580 per share, where it has actually gone up to about 780, 800 during the period in March. So March 2021, and the market capitalization is 560 billion, out of which, because 21% is owned by Elon Musk, he has become the second richest man on earth after Jeff Bezos, and has a market capitalization or a net worth of around $186 billion. Just to put some figures into your head, uh, countries earn in a whole year way less than that. So this is what good technology can do. Why I wanted to talk about Tesla is because of the point of the aspect that I spoke about, innovation in technology. This is what they're doing. They're investing into technology that can get people on the moon. They're investing into technology that can replace vehicles from fuel, normal petrol and diesel, to electric vehicles. Tesla has also just in March and Feb entered into the Indian ecospace as well. They have registered their first company and their private company in Bangalore, and they are going to be launching their first vehicles in December 2021. I'm very excited about that. Uh, that is something you need to also look at and basically understand that this is the value. These are companies that have so much value because Tesla has a first mover advantage. The kind of value it has, you can't imagine that kind of value with other companies, where other companies way bigger than Tesla have not invested into electric vehicles the way Tesla has. So either you invest in cash rich businesses, or you invest in companies where there's going to be a lot of innovation. But with innovation, you don't actually know which one is going to do it the fastest. So there is a certain bit of risk involved in Tesla, and that's why it has gone up and then again suddenly gone down. If you notice, their P levels or their price earnings multiple is just berserk. It's about 300 or 400 times. So these are the kind of issues that you would need to understand. I also wanted to talk about Yahoo. Yahoo is a company, now on the topic of obsolescence. Yahoo is a company which has made so many bad choices that it has actually lost its market value. It has lost most of its operations because it did not focus on the right time, it did not change at the right time, it did not accept things at the right time. So, just to give a basic agenda and basic assessment, Yahoo started in 1995, and it was actually the first pioneer of emails, of web search and search engines. It, if you understand, Google had actually come to Yahoo to be sold to it in 2000s, and Yahoo actually did not buy it. It sold its core operations to Verizon in 2017 for only 4.48 billion and became unlisted. Microsoft offered 45 billion to acquire Yahoo in 2008. The management rejected it. 3 years later, the valuation is 22, and it was finally sold for 4.5 billion. Can you imagine? Just so, if Microsoft had bought Yahoo at 445 billion, Yahoo would have made a lot of money. And now the only investments remain are its investments into Yahoo and the Yahoo Japan company, which is basically valued at 45 billion. So only the investments valued were that much. And that is what they didn't understand, that they need to sell at the right time, or they also have the opportunity to buy Google, but they didn't. So this is one of the cases of obsolescence, where companies don't actually realize when to buy, when to make a position in the market, when to sell. Now, coming to the intermediaries, I wanted to talk about brokerages. Every country has a lot of brokerages that work for trading and basically giving a platform where you can buy and sell your shares. In India, companies like Motilal Oswal, Sher Khan, these companies are actually Zerodha. So these companies are doing very well in terms of brokerages and provide lesser basic brokerages or zero brokerages in these days than banks, because banks don't actually provide zero brokerages. And so if you have a bank brokerage, do change your broker account from any bank to Zerodha or Sher Khan or things like that. Now, I wanted to also talk about AMCs. AMCs are actually asset management companies. Asset management companies, all your mutual funds, all your alternate investment funds, AIFs, all mutual funds are owned by AMCs. So just imagine AMC is a product company which basically issues products. All these mutual funds are its products. So, and these can be in following categories. It can be in any category: stocks, bonds, real estate investment trusts, private equity, investment banking, alternative investment funds, special opportunities, angel investments, VC funds. So there are different categories of different AIFs that you can open as well. AIF category 1, 2, and 3. I would go there and go into detail of this on a later video. But yes, these are the kind of asset management companies. So when you are buying a product, for example, mutual fund, HDFC mutual fund, it has been made by HDFC AMC. So that is its product. Now, coming to depository. What is a depository is basically it deposits all the share certificates. And it is a registered entity with the stock market regulator, in India's case SEBI. And this is where all the dematerialized shares are kept. So any transaction that happens between a buyer and a seller, the depository knows who owns it, and so the buyer gives an order to the depository that change my registrar name from this my own name to this name, and then the name is changed on that share. This is how basically a depository works. Now the main link, this is the main link between investor, which is anyone, a buyer or a seller, and this is called the depository participant. That is why these people are called the depository participant, your DP lien. Now this creates a link between your ledger and the buyers and sellers ledger, and between the securities held by it. In India, examples of depositories are CDSL and NSDL, National Securities Depository Limited, and Central Depository of Securities Limited, Central Depository of Securities Limited. So these two are there. Now, investors by type, there are different types of investors: individuals, partnerships, HUF, companies, different types of mutual funds, foreign institutional investors, and DFIs, domestic financial institutions. So these are the companies that actually invest into any kind of shares, mutual funds, anything. Mutual funds itself invest into other mutual funds or companies because they need to hold securities, so they do that as well. Investors by type. So now there are two types of investors which you need to actually look at. Number one, there are short-term investors and there are long-term investors. Short-term investors is anyone who trades, even if it's a intraday, if it's a daily trade, or if it's not a long-term trade, it's like a short-term trade basically, like 1 month, 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, expiry to expiry, 3 months. That is basically short-term traders. Long-term traders are people who are working on long-term aspects. So, for example, they are actually quarterly to quarterly, they're yearly, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, that kind of investment horizon. Now, the difference between this is a short-term trader looks at technical aspects: price, volume, what is the derivative swing trading, what is the trend of the stock. Long-term investors look at financials, fundamental aspects, balance sheet, annual reports. Now you also need to understand which one of these are you. There is a lot of risk in investments when you make short-term trading because there are a lot of participants in the market. So, and it is impossible to predict the movement. On some occasions, you might be able to predict the trend, but because you're not adequately hedged, there are other participants as well, and that is when you will make a lot of loss. So that is something that you need to also look at. What are you comfortable with? Also, what is your risk appetite? If you have a high risk appetite, becoming a short term trader is a good option or an option that you can actually see. If you really want to make wealth over a period of time, if you today don't have the time to invest or actively invest, but you have certain funds and you continuously get certain funds which you want to build, like for example, your family, education, your children's education, a home that you're planning for, these things can be done by fundamental investing, where you have a disciplined way of investing. This is the two aspects. I am going to extensively cover on these two aspects in the further videos on my channel. Please share and subscribe to everyone you know because this financial intelligence is going to be very, very important and crucial to you when you make investments, when you make profits, and when you actually build wealth in the stock market. Also, everyone who tells you that stock market is a gamble, stock market is a jua, those people have not actually understood the stock market. If you are looking just at greens and reds and if you are investing on it, you are not going to make money. You need to understand what is happening in the stock market. Only with knowledge, your jua and gamble becomes actual investing, where you're investing into value of companies which are doing some kind of activity to make profit and you make profit with it. So this you need to understand. Now, at the end of this whole thing, you need to understand which one of these two investors do you want to be. Now, this is for you to decide, but this will be on the basis of some aspects. Like I told you, you need to understand your own behavior. You need to understand what ticks for you, what excites you, and what is more interesting to you. But while doing that, you need to also understand what are your needs, what capital do you have, do you get money every month, every year, how much money do you already have saved, what is your risk appetite? Are you a 20-year-old who has no responsibility? Are you a 35-year-old who is just having a newborn kid and has a lot of responsibility? Are you at 60 and you have a lot of funds but now you have no responsibility? But you cannot take that much risk as well because you are getting old. So, assessing your risk appetite is very important. Also, if anyone wants me to assess their risk or assess what kind of investments they make or they should make, my website, my channel is always open. Please write to me and ask any question that you have on investments. Me and my team will be happy to guide you on any aspect of finance, stock markets, or financial instruments, or whatever you want to understand in terms of shares. Because I am doing this because of financial intelligence of the country that is actually comparatively low. Today, if you know what you want to invest in, if you have some kind of knowledge, then you are going to make a lot of money. And I don't want to charge, or I don't like when people are charging for all these things. These things should be available to everyone. And and that is when people will start growing. That's what I want to do. So with this, our video basics on stock market come to an end. I will be coming out with further video series. Please share, subscribe, comment, like, share with all of your finance buddies, people who would want to know about the stock market. Let them know what is the stock market. This is very important content and I hope you learned something from it. There's a lot more coming. This is a very basic presentation of what the stock market is, all the complexities, everything. Please comment on what topics you want me to cover as well, and I will definitely cover them. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to all the questions that you might have. Welcome to Rusk and Felix channel. Bye bye.